Mr. Scott Lettieri.
Thank you. Thanks so much. This is awesome. This is great. You know, I haven't said a word and I'm already getting applause. And for somebody like me who's a social outcast, I consider that a moral victory. So here I am. I've decided that I'm going to give this whole stand-up comedy routine. I'm gonna give it a shot, right? I've always kind of wanted to do it. It's always been kind of a dream of mine, kind of a fantasy. Although my one friend says to me, he says, Lettieri, maybe you shouldn't try to fulfill all your fantasies because, you know, that can be dangerous for you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Tell it to my urethra. So a few weeks back, I go into my therapist's office. My therapist, who is Dr. Frederick Krueger. And Dr. Krueger says to me, he says, Lettieri, you're fucked up. I'm like, yeah, I know. Tell me something I don't know. He says, well, you have a phobia. I'm like, what? What's that all about? We all know what a phobia is, right? A phobia is an anxiety disorder characterized by a persistent and irrational fear of an object or a situation. People have all sorts of different phobias, right? They're afraid of heights, they're afraid of water, some people are afraid of clowns. That one's known as the carrot top phobia. Other people are, you know, they're afraid of movies, you know. Movies? I mean, who's afraid of a movie, right? E.T. phone home. E.T. fuck me in the ass. I told you it was an irrational fear, right? So now that you know that I'm a social outcast, what kind of phobia do you think that I have? No, I'm not afraid of people. No, I'm not afraid of water. No, my doctor diagnoses me with this phobia. It's kind of a rare phobia. It's called insignificant other phobia, which essentially means that I have an irrational and persistent fear of my ex-girlfriend. Yeah, fuck. I mean, it's true. Whenever I see her on the streets, I'm anxiety-ridden, right? You know, I freeze up. You know, I can't talk. You know, my throat closes up. You know, my balls clench up. It's bad. It's a really bad thing, right? So I go to Dr. Krueger and I'm, Doc, what are we going to do about this? He just shakes his head and he looks at me and he says, I think you should leave town. I'm like, what? Leave town? What kind of advice is that? I'm paying you a lot of money. We need to tackle this thing head on. He's like, no, you need to avoid her at all costs. And you know, at this point I'm getting a little angry. I'm like, fuck you. He's like, fuck me? No, fuck you. You have anger management issues and I did not bargain for that. I'm going to have to terminate our relationship. I'm like, what? Dr. Krueger broke up with me. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, how low can you get? So now when I'm on the streets and I run into him, it's the same thing. I'm anxiety-ridden, you know. I've got, you know, my throat closes up. I go to the cold sweats. I can't talk. My asshole shrivels up. Yeah. Talking about my asshole. I don't really want to talk about my asshole. I'm not into that. I'm not that kind of comedian. I don't tell jokes about my asshole and my dick. I'm not into all that kind of stuff. But I need to tell you as kind of a public service announcement, I'm in radio, and then we have this thing called public service announcement where we try to help the public. I have to tell you about my cancer scare, which has a little bit to do with my asshole. So bear with me, right? It's like, for guys and women who are with guys, I'm telling you one thing. If you have to get a prostate biopsy, you go to the doctor, you look at him in the eyes, and you say, okay, I can do that. But you need to put me asleep. You need to put me out. Because I didn't know that, right? So I got this blood test that was off the roof, and I had to find a specialist. So I went to the East Bay and I found this doctor, this urologist, Dr. Hyde, right? You know, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, only he wasn't Dr. Jekyll, he wasn't Dr. Hyde. I mean, he wasn't Dr. You know what I mean? He was Dr. Hyde, right? I'm just hoping that he's not going to hide anything bigger than his finger up my ass. Red bum. Red bum. Scotty isn't home, Mrs. Torrance. He has a red bum. Anyway, I get to his office. He has to do the prostate biopsy. And he takes this instrument out. It's like this long. It looks like an umbrella, right? And he takes it and he lubes it up. And he starts putting it up my butt. And I'm like, holy crap. You know, it's like he's maneuvering it up there. And I'm like, I'm doing everything that I can to divert my attention, right? I'm tapping my fingers. I start singing, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. Finally, after about 10 minutes of excruciating pain, he finally gets it up there. And then he says to me, oh, that was the easy part. I'm like, what? And then he proceeds to shoot me 5 times with Novocaine, 5 times, right into the prostate. I'm like, oh, my eyes are spinning around in my head again. I'm trying to divert my attention. I'm thinking about the lineup of the 1994 San Francisco Giants. I'm like, oh, it was Jeff Leonard, played left field. No, that was in the 70s. It was Barry Bonds in right field. It's like, no, that was the World Series. I'm like, ah. Finally, after numbing my prostate, he starts clipping at it, right? 14 samples he takes of my prostate. 14! You know how big the prostate is? It's about this big. It's about as big as a walnut. Right? I'm not really feeling that, but I'm feeling him moving the umbrella up my butt. It feels like a hockey stick. It's like, oh, the Pavelski, he shoots, he scores! Ah! Right, so anyway, it's like, oh my God. So finally he gets done with that, and he plops the umbrella out of my ass. Oh, I forgot to tell you. At the top of the umbrella instrument, there's this bulbous little head, right? It's big. It's like big enough. It has to fit inside of it. There's the needle, there's the camera, and then there's the snippers. Snip, 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 snip. Right? It's like huge. It's like the size of. It looks like a little mini water tower, right? Or more precisely, it looks like the head of E.T. E.T. phone home. E.T. fuck me in the ass. So I'm here to tell you, I now understand why people are afraid of movies. Thank you. That's my time.